We are about to start. We are going to keep strictly to the timing because we like to encourage everyone so that when we have any other program, they will know that we are time conscious engineers and we are professionals to the core. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone.
That should be okay.
Good morning, my chairman.
Good morning, sir. You are welcome to this program.
I hope everybody can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, good morning, everybody. My name is Engineer Fisayo Adelola, and we welcome everybody to this great seminar on career enhancement for all cadres of, and we believe that everyone is going to have a very eventful moment and time with us. As we actually proceed, I will be handing over to the chairman of Lagos State Chapter to lead us in the prayer session, which is going to be the second stanza, while after which he will take the opening speech. Thank you, everybody. Shall we recite the second stanza, please, of our national anthem? O God of creation,
direct our noble cause.
our noble cause.
Our noble cause.
That's
Guide
our leaders right.
Help our
and
youth
Help our
youth
youth to know.
in love and
honesty to grow.
And living just
and true.
With lofty heights
to
build
a
a
nation
where peace and justice
shall reign.
reign. Amen. Thank you all. Thank you. Over to my chairman of Lagos State Chapter, Engineer Abdulganiu Tiamiu. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Engineer Fisayo Adelola, the Technical Secretary, the Public Secretary for Lagos Chapter. I want to welcome everyone to today's seminar. As the chairman of the committee has rightly said, that I want to keep to time. We don't want to waste anybody's time. Time is very precious. So we may not delay. Every other parent that wants to join us will be joining us while we are starting the program and the dots. First of all, let me recognize Vice President Engineer Goodluck T.A. Ohodo, FNSC. We are highly honored that you are on this platform this morning. Thank you very much. The Chairman, Apapa branch of NSC, Engineer Christian Ufot. Good morning, sir. You are welcome.
Good morning, sir. Thank you, my chairman. Thank you, the Vice President.
Thank you, sir. Our able female leader, let me call it that way, is always foremost in our events. Engineer Temitayo Makindikwe, FNSC.
Good morning, Chairman. Good morning, everybody.
Thank you very much. We just hope that all other members will keep to time as some few of us have kept to time. We promised to start this event by 10:30. Though it's a marathon event, it's going to take us about 3 hours because we're having about four presenters of different papers for our own professional development. I wish to welcome everyone once again. If you could remember, for those who are present during our inauguration in December last year, our main focus for this administration, which we keep on repeating anytime we have the opportunity, is that we want to build capacity of our members. And then since then, all our programs and events rally around capacity building, because we believe that we have the potentials. We just have to build ourselves up so that we can be where we're supposed to be and can contribute as expected for the professional development and for the national development of our great nation, Nigeria. So that is why at our own end, though we are in a small corner of the professional body, Lagos chapter of Nigerian Institute of Mechanical Engineers, not to talk of other chapters or at the national level, or talk of other divisions of NSC and other professional bodies. But we will continue to do our own as much as we can as a part of our contribution to national development. So today's seminar, we call it Enhancement Seminar, Career Enhancement. I believe at any cadre, though it may be more relevant to younger ones, but even the middle and the senior ones, one way or the other, they still have something to learn or to dish out to the younger ones at the end of today's event. So we believe that, as we know, mechanical engineering, we have uncountable numbers of opportunities. Right from the school, we know the kind of program we had, different courses and so on and so forth. When we start our practice, in fact, where we never thought of working, where we never thought a mechanical engineer can work, we see it happening and mechanical engineers are working there. Is it in design, construction, fabrication, procurement, transportation, IT, so many uncountable numbers. We just, this committee just put us together and try to, just pick some few out of the areas that mechanical engineers can work, with the hope that by the time we express, widen our scope on
I guess the chairman has been muted.
No, it's not muted. Probably it's the network.
It's the network. It's not muted.
Hello? Hello?
Hello, we can hear you.
Okay.
Speak on, sir.
Sorry, I was off. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, as I was speaking, that today's event, we just try to pick some few areas for our presenters to discuss with us the opportunities that mechanical engineers have in those areas. Biomedical area, glass fabrication, welding technology, and IT in terms of coding and the rest. So hoping that we all have something, one thing or the other to gain in this after the end of the presentation. We have just about averagely 30 minutes for each presenter, maybe 20 minutes for presentation and 10 minutes for question and answer, and maybe if there's any contribution. So the organizer will be telling us the rules and regulations that will guide us throughout the event today. And I hope that by the grace of Almighty, all of us will have something to gain at the end of the day. And we believe that it will also contribute to our professional development and to contribute eventually to the development of our great nation. I want Hello?
Yes, we are with you, sir.
Hello,
we
everyone.
are with you. We are with you, sir.
My device,
we are with you, sir.
Yes, I'm joining through another device. I will just conclude my opening remarks by advising every one of us here to listen attentively so that we can have something to take home at the end of the program. Thank you. God bless you as you with us this morning till maybe around 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Thank you very much. You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. All right, sir. Not wasting time, I would like to introduce the first facilitator, and I'll give you a brief on her profile. Engineer Ugochi is a registered engineer who is a member of the Council of Registration of Engineers, COREN, Nigerian Association of Mechanical Engineers, NIMechE, and a division of Nigerian Society of Engineers. Presently, presently she works at the Department of Biomedical Engineering, University of Lagos. Her work experience cuts across various sectors, including telecommunications, automobile, and the shipping industry. She has both BSc and master's degree in mechanical engineering from University of Lagos. So I'll be handing over to her right now. She's going to take a presentation for maximum of 20 minutes, and we have 10 minutes for questions. Thank you. Over to you, Engineer Ugochi.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Ugochi Regulam, and I'm here to present a topic on biomedical engineering. Please kindly excuse me, I'm finding it difficult to share my screen. I request the host to give me access, please.
I'll do that right away, just a minute. Ram, please try again. You should be able to share your screen by now.
Yes, I can. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. I'll be talking about biomedical engineering, enriching the health sector through mechanical engineering. Now, we know that mechanical engineering has been known to be the father of engineering, as its applications span every facet of the engineering world, from the works ranging from small components design to extremely large plants, machinery of vehicles. The mechanical engineer is of paramount importance as it plays a vital role in advancing technology in various aspects of society. However, in the past few decades, we see that the role of mechanical engineering has evolved. it has evolved to include applications in other fields, one of which is the medical field. Now, mechanical engineers apply engineering principles to research and development of medical applications, treatments, or diagnostic technologies related to acute or chronic medical conditions. Medical engineering projects can include artificial organs and prosthetic limbs, computer-assisted procedures and treatments, informatics, and medical imaging. So in this presentation, we're going to briefly look at biomedical engineering and how mechanical engineering affects it and how it enriches the health sector. So we're going to start with a few definitions. What's biomedical engineering? Biomedical engineering, also referred to as bioengineering, biomed, or BME, is a multidisciplinary STEM field that combines biology and engineering, applying engineering principles and materials to medicine and healthcare. The increasing demand for biomedical engineers is linked to society's general shift towards everyday utilization of machinery and technology in all aspects of life. So we see that the contribution of engineering principles with the biological knowledge to address medical needs has contributed to the development of revolutionary and life-saving concepts such as artificial organs. When we talk about artificial organs, we have the artificial heart, we also have artificial ears and other parts of the body. Generally, an artificial organ is like an engineered device that can be implanted or integrated into a human body. It interfaces with living tissues. And in some cases, it can replace a natural organ and duplicate or augment a specific function so that the patient may return to normal life as soon as possible. For example, an artificial heart or a total artificial heart is a pump that is placed in the chest to replace a damaged heart, ventricles, and valves, because the ventricles pump blood to the lungs and other parts of the body. So this is where biomedical engineering comes in. We also have surgical robots. This one performs surgery with or without the presence of the human doctor. We have advanced prosthetics. We have new pharmaceutical drugs, and we also have kidney dialysis. Now, biomedical engineering, where medicine meets engineering. Biomedical engineering, like I said earlier, is like a blend. It's a meeting point for medicine and engineering. It's a broad field where the area of focus and the exact nature of work you find yourself doing will vary depending on the specifics of your role. A few examples of some of these subdivisions of biomedical engineering include biomedical electronics, biomaterials, computational biology, cellular tissue and genetic engineering, medical imaging, and orthopedic bioengineering. We also have bio-nanotechnology. So the question we can ask now is, can a mechanical engineer work in the field of biomedical engineering? Yes, it's very possible. In fact, Forbes calls biomedical engineering the high-paying, low-stress STEM job you probably haven't considered. A mechanical engineer that specializes in medical science can be called a medical engineer, or in some cases, a biomedical engineer. Medical engineers apply engineering principles to research and development of medical applications, treatment, or diagnostic technologies related to acute or chronic medical conditions. So we see medical engineers are employed by research organizations, manufacturers, government agencies, or major medical centers. You see that the reach of the medical engineer is far and wide. Now, what are the roles of the medical engineers in healthcare? The engineer's responsibilities in medicine can include research, development, testing, and evaluation of medical devices. The biomedical engineer is also able to advise on new medical purchases for hospitals and medical centers. So when the hospital needs a new technology or wants to get a new MRI machine, the biomedical engineer's expertise is needed for that decision to be made. Medical engineers may specialize in medical devices, sports medicine, stem cell research, biomarkers, genomics, nanotechnology, and more. Medical engineering projects can include artificial organs, like I mentioned earlier, computer-assisted procedures, treatments, informatics, and medical imaging. So in the next few slides, I'll just briefly touch on a few of these roles and responsibilities. Medical devices. For medical devices, we have the biomedical, like I mentioned earlier, typically the biomedical engineer works for research facilities, colleges, and universities. In the research facilities, that's where research goes on, existing devices are improved upon, new devices are birthed. Even in the hospitals, medical equipment companies, all these are done to create and test products like medical devices. Now, they combine their knowledge of biology and engineering principles to develop systems and revolutionary equipment to improve the efficiency of patient care. Medical devices and products include the pacemaker. From the slide, we can see the pacemaker there on the chest of the human there. The pacemaker assists the heart in pumping blood. The pacemaker is like a small device that is implanted in the chest to help control the heartbeat. It's used to prevent the heart from beating too slowly. So once a pacemaker is implanted in the chest during a surgical procedure, it generates electrical impulses delivered by electrodes to cause the heart muscle chambers to contract and therefore pump blood. So by doing this, the device replaces and regulates function of the electrical conduction system of the heart. So we see that in all this, there's the issue of pumping blood, there's the issue of fluid, and there's the issue of the electrical conduction system. So we see all these point to the fact that the mechanical engineer is very vital. The medical doctor cannot just develop this device on his own. He needs the assistance of the biomedical engineer or a mechanical engineer working in biomedical engineering. Now, let's also talk about the infusion pump. The infusion pump is also another medical device that delivers fluids such as nutrients and medications into a patient's body in controlled amounts. Infusion pumps are used in clinical settings such as hospitals, nursing homes, and some people actually use it on their own. So with the infusion pump, the duration of fluid delivery is controlled through a built-in software interface. So infusion pumps offer a significant advantage over the manual administration of fluids, including the ability to deliver fluids in very small volumes and the ability to deliver fluids at precise programmed rates or automated intervals. So you see that all these functions need the intervention of a mechanical engineer. We have the fluid, we have programming, and we have a bit of automation. Now we're going to talk about smartwatches. Smartwatches are actually becoming more popular now. We have the personal fitness watch. But the personal fitness industry is like a multi-billion-pound industry. It is now widely accepted that your resting heart rate is a decent indicator of your cardiovascular fitness. So with your smartwatch, you can be able to monitor your heart rate to prevent the event of a heart attack and all that. So these smartwatches are designed to ensure that your heartbeat, your heart rate, you are connected to the smartwatch, it measures it and gives feedback. In some cases, the feedback can be transferred directly to your doctor. So once the doctor sees the trend in the heartbeat and the heart rate over time, the doctor can be able to predict and say, okay, you need to do this, you need to do that to ensure that you don't have heart problems in the future. And for this medical data, I will stop at the last one, which is a coronary stent. The coronary stent from this diagram is a small mesh tube. It's made of either stainless steel or cobalt chromium alloys, and it's placed by a catheter into a narrowed coronary artery. Now we see that this stent, I mentioned, is made of stainless steel. You have to put it in the human body. So the knowledge of the mechanical engineer is important. Knowledge of materials. You cannot use a material that will rust over time and that will affect the human body. So that's why you need to use something like stainless steel. There's also the issue of blood flow, because the stent actually improves blood flow by enlarging the segments of the artery. So there's fluid mechanics there and other information that is needed by the mechanical engineering to ensure that the device is properly designed. Now, medical imaging. Medical imaging is also known as radiology. It's a field of medicine where medical professionals recreate images of various parts of the body for diagnostic or treatment purposes. So the advantage of the medical imaging is that you get to see the inner parts of the body without being intrusive. You don't have to cut or make an incision on the body. We have different medical imaging procedures like the X-ray, the magnetic resonance imaging, also popularly known as the MRI, like we see in the picture. We have ultrasounds, endoscopy, tactile imaging, and CT scan. Now, to design this machine, the mechanical engineer is very important. His expertise is needed here alongside knowledge of biology. Now, prosthetic devices and artificial organs. One of the three major weight-bearing joints in the leg, also known as, one of the three major weight-bearing joints in the leg is known as the hips. And humans tend to put a lot of stress over it over a lifetime. After a while, for some people, the stress begins to wear down the cartilage and causes painful friction. As a result of that, they need to replace the hip. Now that's where the mechanical engineer comes in, because we're talking about weights, force, stress, strain, and all that. Even material is also important to ensure that a new hip that is designed to be suitable for the recipient or the patient. We also have issues about bone fractures. There's some fractures that are so severe that they need to put metal screws, pins, plates, and rods, as you see in this picture. All this information, all these materials cannot just be done by the doctor alone. Biomedical engineers' expertise is needed. Then we have prosthetic devices. From this diagram, we can see prosthetic legs that replaces the missing limbs and helps to restore normal functions of the leg. So the person doesn't really have to use a crutch. Once you have a prosthetic leg, you can walk easily, at least as normal as possible. Then some people have actually gone ahead to design bionic arms. This one involves the use of electrodes in the brain. Electrical transmissions from the brain to control the arms. So if your brain, you want to turn left, the signal from the brain goes through the wires down to the bionic arm, and then the brain will be able to control the arm. So these are technological advancements in the field of biomedical engineering. Now, there are actually so many areas, which I just did a brief overview in the previous slides. We have biotechnology, neural engineering, bioinstrumentation, rehabilitation engineering, biosensors, and the rest. And a mechanical engineer can find his niche there to be able to ensure that he can work to, it's going to ensure that he works to ensure that the medical procedure or the medical solution is possible. Now, what are the career pathways for biomedical engineers? Okay, we're interested. Okay, I can see mechanical engineers are very important in the area of biomedical engineering. How can I, forge a career path as a biomedical engineer? Well, that's very possible. In order to become a biomedical engineer, you need to study an undergraduate degree in a relevant field such as biomedical science or engineering, electrical or electronic engineering, mechanical engineering, physics. Then you could go on to study a master's or PhD in biomedical engineering. A bioengineering lecturer in the University of Illinois, Jennifer Amos, also commented that many of her students go straight into the industry through medical or prosthetic design. So we see that a biomedical engineer has so much impact to do in the industry. Medical engineers often study technology, medical devices, and diagnostics, computer modeling, analysis, physiology, biology, chemistry, and physics. Medical engineers also usually complete a course of clinical study as well. So as a biomedical engineer, you should know that you're not just sticking to the engineering principles. You need to learn a bit of clinical study. You need to learn a bit of anatomy. You need to learn a bit of medicine and other clinical studies. Also, as a biomedical engineer, you know that you're not just, you need to keep learning every day because technology revolves, technology keeps improving. So you need to always learn every day. You be on your toes for the latest trend in technology to ensure that you solve problems in society. On a final note, when talking about global health, many people believe that only the doctors, nurses, public health specialists, disease detectives, and academic researchers play an important role in it. But most people do not think of the engineers. Why? That's because they generally stay out of the limelight, but silently keep things powered and running in the background. From water and sanitation systems in the community to ventilators and biomedical devices in the hospital, the engineers are always there to keep things running. So let's take the COVID-19 pandemic as an example. During the crisis, engineers have made huge contributions by delivering oxygen concentrators, pulse oximeters, ventilators, rapid tests, high filtration masks, air purifiers, vaccine cold chains, logistics, supply chain management, and others. And in some places, the engineers have built the COVID-19 field hospitals within days, but we rarely see them on national television. So we see that the engineers are very important. Their impact is always felt in the health industry. Engineers are the unsung heroes of global health. So with that, I wrap up my presentation. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Okay. So much. Thank you. We appreciate you, Engineer Ugochi. That was a great presentation. Please kindly accept some people trying to make entry into the program, please. You are still the host. Please kindly accept it. Thank you. While she does that, please, if you have any question, please kindly present your questions to her. We have 10 minutes for that.
Good morning, everybody. While Engineer Uribulam was talking, I was sending messages to the chairman on WhatsApp. This presentation is fantastic, particularly for students. In fact, I sent a message to the chairman that they should seek your permission, that we should play this video in our schools, and I hope you'll accept. It is so good because as you were just talking, I was just thinking of students. So thank you very much for well-researched, concise, brief, just wonderful presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ma.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ma. We're very, very grateful. Will we actually do that? We'll do that. Thank you. I believe that should be a flood of questions, please.
So, Engineer Regular, you didn't tell us if you give us permission to use your video.
Okay. So, sorry, I didn't get that. The line was cracking. Yes, permission granted, Ma.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, Ma.
Do we have anyone that has questions to ask, please? Sorry, is engineer Wahab? Is he online?
Good morning, Mr. Moderator.
Is engineer? Yes. Okay, engineer Wahab. Thank you. Good morning.
Engineer Wahab. My name is Engineer Dr. Agbola.
Okay, sir. All right, sir. We listen to you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Then the presenter, I want to appreciate you for the wonderful presentation that you have made. Yeah, but I have a question to ask that this biomedical engineering, I want to believe that it's a new study area in Nigeria, so to say. So I want to ask if we have this course at undergraduate level, then if the answer is yes, can you give us some of the institutions where these courses are offered at undergraduate level? Then second question, that at what point in your engineering career or your engineering profession that you now fall in love with biomedical engineering? Because for you to study mechanical from maybe undergraduate and then you now switch to biomedical in postgraduate. So what actually prompted you to do such, the motivation behind it? Thank you. Hello, can you hear me?
That information is not correct.
And Ugochi, please, can you respond to his queries?
Hello, good morning. Hello? Hello?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Speak on. Speak on.
I just joined not up to 5 minutes ago, so I don't have the background to really answer that question.
I put the answer in the chat, at least one part of it.
Okay, thank you. I can see Afe Babalola Adekise. I think yes, I think I saw that one.
Yeah.
Yes. And Asuwa University, Bells University, University of Ilorin. Okay, thank you so much.
Until they come here now. Okay, that's good. Make them bring them comfort.
Just as an addition, the College of Medicine, University of Lagos, they've had a biomedical engineering unit as far back as 1984, 85. Because I went there when I actually wanted to study biomedical engineering. But at that time was not available in any part of the world. So they've had a bioengineering unit, which was, giving support to the hospital. But it's not too long ago that they started it as an undergraduate course in Unilab.
Yeah, thank you so much for the information. I'm grateful.
There is a question in the chat for the presenter. The questionnaire asks, how can we create more awareness for students to study biomedical engineering in this part of the world? Can you please provide an answer, ma?
Yes, she has been logged out. She just sent me a private message now that she has been logged out. Please kindly log her in, please.
Sorry, good morning. I'm back now. Thank you. Okay, to the question, how can we create more awareness for students to study biomedical engineering in this part of the world? Well, I think for the students to be able to study biomedical engineering, they should be able to know the benefits of studying biomedical engineering. And things like this career enhancement seminar is one step in the right direction. Many people, they don't even know there's a course called biomedical engineering, although from research, you see that it's becoming more popular, but there are so many people that they're not even aware of. They already know the general main engineering, like mechanical, electrical. When you mention biomedical engineering, they'll be like, what's that? So there is a need to, even from the secondary schools, there's a need to ensure there's a career enhancement, programs, educating them on different aspects of engineering. So this will help to create more awareness, and people will be able to know that there are benefits of studying my biomedical engineering. So that's it.
Sorry, I missed a bit of the beginning when you were introduced. I'd like to find out where you're working and how you went into bioengineering.
Okay, ma. I'm currently a lecturer at the University of Lagos in the Department of Biomedical Engineering. My first degree, my first degree and secondary degree was in mechanical engineering, but I currently lecture in the Department of Biomedical Engineering. So my research area is in the area of biomedical engineering.
Great. How many students do you have? I'm just wondering what's your intake on an annual basis.
Okay, currently in the University of Lagos, for the undergraduate level, the highest level is the 400 level. And we have an average of 20 to 25 students for each level. But we noticed that over time, as the years, prolong, as the years increase, the number of intakes also increase. And this is what I'm talking about. And this is what I mean about sensitization. There's many people that don't know about the department. So as the years increase, more people are sensitized and more students are eager to come into biomedical engineering. So currently I think the 200 level, the current 200 level students, they are the largest. And you have an average of 20 to 25 students in the class.
That's so good. Nice wish you.
Yes.
Do we have any other question? Do we have any other question? Okay, is Engineer Kabir, is he available now? All right, my Lagos chapter chairman
is raising his hand. I can say Engineer Goodluck raising his hand.
Please attend to his question, please. It's a very interesting topic.
Can I go ahead? Can I go ahead? Can I go ahead, please? Hello?
Please go ahead, sir. Please go ahead, sir.
Okay, good morning, everybody on this call, and good morning to the presenter.
Morning, sir.
My name is Engineer Goodluck Okwodo, fellow Nigerian Society of Engineers, fellow Nigerian Institution of Mechanical Engineers, and fellow Auto EI, fellow Night Safety, Vice President, Nigerian Society of Engineers. I listened carefully to the presentation, The presentation is quite good and quite apt. Let me say maybe for the period or the era we are now. But I want to suggest this kind of presentations, which we rarely come by sometimes. I think we need to have rapporteurs that will take down all these things and make them in form of, what do we call it again? In form of communicate. Yes, so all the presentation you might have today, I think we should have rapporteurs to get a kind of communique on this so that we can also publish it and let the world know that NIMechE has this kind of a program. And before you know it, people will start calling from their phones. And also this kind of presentations would be good for NIMechE conferences. So when we are making presentations, the executives should please take note of them, look at them and see which and which you need to prepare for oncoming conferences. I want to sincerely thank the presenter. It's a good one. Please
thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
All right. God bless
you. Amen.
Thank you, Honorable Vice President, Engineer Goodluck Ohodo, FNSC. All your suggestions are noted. Thank you very much.
It's all right, sir. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you, sir.
And the damage papers.
All right, sir. My chairman, sir. Please, I would like the chairman to present the certificate of Engineer Ugochi.
Now is how do we shut down? Because of the program.
Well, is Engineer Wahab Kabir, is he available?
So, someone has raised his hand. Someone raised his hand.
Okay.
Hello, Engineer Sayo.
Oh, yes, my chairman, sir.
Hello.
Please, yes, I thought somebody wanted to ask a question.
This particular, okay, now let me answer.
Okay. All right, my chairman, please, can you present the certificate of Engineer Ugochi?
Can we display the certificate on the screen for everybody to see?
Recording in progress. Recording in progress. Recording in progress.
And you know, Fisaya, are you with the certificate?
Display the certificate on the screen.
And you know, Fisaya.
No, hello, sir. I've already sent it to you. I sent it to you, sir. I already sent it to you, sir.
To who?
To the chairman. I sent it to the chairman.
Okay.
I'm not a host. I cannot.
Please, kindly make the chairman the host, please. Kindly make chairman the host, please.
Please go ahead and do the presentation, sir. Chairman, sir. And you.
Just display from your end. Display from your end, please.
I don't have it. Officer, can you display it?
Hello. Hello, everyone.
Engineer Fisayo, please display it from your end.
Okay.
The chairman wants you to display it.
I'm having challenge with my screen too. That's why I would have preferred you make him the host.
He said you should display it from your end.
Okay. I'm having challenge doing it. Let me see. Share. Incoming document.
It is on the screen. Please, chairman, go ahead.
Okay.
My chairman. Engineer Bukanisa. Engineer Tiamiyu, it is on the screen, sir. Engineer Tiamiyu. Engineer Tiamiyu. Engineer
I can't see it
Tiamiyu.
on the screen, please. Can you display it?
Yes, it's on the screen, sir. Can you see it, sir?
I can't see the certificate on the screen.
It's on the screen.
We can see it, so there.
We can see it on the screen. I think he's having network issues.
I cannot see the certificate on the screen, please.
Everybody is seeing it, sir. Everybody is seeing
maybe,
it.
I'm not seeing it here. So
Yeah,
please, you don't have to waste much of
Chairman, please present it to her.
Can you?
Chairman, you can go ahead and present it that way now.
I'm not seeing this certificate on my screen.
The certificate of participation. You can
This is a mechanical engineering fault, so Chairman.
Maybe it's having a network issue.
Let's ask our Vice President to represent it to her.
Engineer
Wodo, please present it to Engineer Regulam.
It's all right. Just give me 1 minute. Okay. This is certificate of participation.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear
Hello,
me?
can you hear me?
We can hear you, sir.
Hello.
Certificate of participation.
Can I go ahead?
Yes, please.
Okay.
I'm on.
Participation presented to Engineer Ugochi Uregulem, NIMechE, MNLC. What's this one now? NIMechE, for the active and please let the person moving the certificate stop moving it so that I can concentrate on what I'm presenting.
Okay, sir.
So please leave it like that. Let me do the presentation.
Okay, Okay,
this
sir.
certificate is awarded to Engineer Ugochi Curriculum MNSC NIMechE for her active and significant participation as a facilitator on the topic biomedical engineering, enriching the health sector through mechanical engineering in our career enhancement seminar by the NIMechE Lagos chapter, held this day, 25th of May, 2022. My dear Engineer Ugochi, congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone. So grateful. Thank you for this time. Engineer Ugochi, thank you very much. While we introduce the second speaker, Engineer Kabir, is Engineer Kabir Wahab, is he available?
Yes, I think he has joined.
All right, please.
Engineer Wahab, are you there?
Kindly make him the host.
Engineer Wahab, are you there, sir? Engineer Wahab. Kabir Babatunde. He's going in and out. Engineer, okay. Engineer Wahab, you are the host now.
Recording in progress.
Engineer Wahab. Engineer Wahab, can you hear us?
Does anybody have his direct contact? Show, give him a call. I can see him online.
Engineer Wahab Kabir.
Yes, sir.
Please kindly go on with your presentation.
Okay. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Engineer Wahab Kabir Babatunde. Thank you so much for the opportunity given to me to talk on the. Hello.
We are listening to you. We can hear you clearly.
Go ahead, we are listening.
Go ahead, sir.
Okay, sir. So thank you for the opportunity given to me to make a presentation on glass fabrication. Yes, to start with, I joined glass fabrication industry in 2008. Let me start with my orientation. When I joined the industry, my MD, the name of the company was Technoglass. It is in Amuwodofin, Lagos. When they were doing orientation for us, the MD, one of his the first statement he made was that he used to hear a certain proverb in the olden days that a person who built a glass house does not throw a stone. He said that when he joined glass industry, he knew that in a glass house, you can even shoot a bullet, you can shoot a gun. So everybody just busted into laughter. So, but truly, when we joined the glass industry, I knew that it was true that such a thing can happen. Now, to start with, what is glass fabrication? Glass fabrication covers all the processes that we do on glass or not glass to convert it to usable or functional components. All these processes, they include cutting, grinding or dulling, drilling, tempering, double glazing, lamination, and so on and so forth like that. You see, you know that the glass, One of the property of the glass is that the glass is very, very brittle. It easily got broken. And when you have already worked on glass, you cannot do anything on it again. That's so that you need precision. Companies use a CNC machine. So after fabricating the glass, we can use for a lot of things. You can use it in a architectural building. During the course of presentation, I'll be talking on so many glass. What is a glass? It's a raw material of metal and all other things. But glass, one of its properties is that the glass was made from a fusion of sand, silica. So let's talk about engineering properties of glass. Engineering properties of glass. Number one is transparency. Glass is very transparent. If you want to make it to be transparent, it can be transparent from both sides, from outside and inside. You can also make it to be transparent from one side and the other side is not transparent. Meanwhile, that the other side will be looking as mirror side. That type of glass, we call it mirror glass or reflective glass. That's number one properties of glass. Number two is strength of glass. Generally, glass is very, very brittle. It's a brittle material. It got broken easily. But you can make it stronger and tougher through the process of lamination and toughening. Because of presentation, I will also state more things about toughening and lamination processes. Number three property, workability of materials like steel, wood, like steel and wood as well. Glass, we can also work. Glass also has a superior property of being working upon. When I'm talking of working on glass, I'm talking about the anneal glass, raw glass that has not undergone the process of toughening. Number four.
Sorry, sir. Okay. Please kindly bear with me. Okay. I appreciate you.
So what do we do now? What's the way forward?
I would have actually
now
said
number four property. Hello.
Yes. But yeah, so that voltage.
Can you hear?
Yes,
number
Engineer Wahab, mute everyone. Mute everyone. Yes, so that the background noise will not be wrong.
That thing you tested, okay? You saw it, Abi. You tested it, that.
Engineer Adelola, please mute your mic.
What is about strategy?
I think he's left. That's why the post has been transferred. Maybe while trying to mute everybody.
Stop again. Somebody inside. You don't call it scatter the whole thing.
And now, please go on.
Start the part, you buy new part, another.
You share your screen and go on.
It's no better we work with you when they change that.
Engineer Adelola is still talking. Please let us listen to the presenter. Thank you.
There's some
Please go on, Engineer. Go on.
Now I can see your screen now. And now please go on.
Engineer Wahab Babatunde, unmute your microphone, please.
Okay, unmuted now. I've unmuted it. Is it okay like that?
No, the screen
Hello?
doesn't show. The screen is too large.
Go ahead. It's okay.
Okay, it's okay like that. Now, for glass to be, for the glass to be, for glass to have a good insulation is to have a lower U value. I'm still going to talk about the process of making insulated glass during the course of this presentation. I'm just talking about the properties of glass for now. Property number 5, recycle property of glass. The glass is highly recyclable. It's 100% recyclable. You can recycle the glass. Now, let's talk about the types of glass in building now and their uses. We have different types of glass that we use in building. They are flat glass, flat. So the first glass is glass, float glass. It comes in 2 mm to 20 mm. It comes in different colors: clear glass, blue glass, brown glass, reflected glass, and the major size is 3300 by 2200 mm. That's the major sizes. It's upon this float glass that we can work upon. Like, that's where glass fabrication comes in. We can cut float glass, we can grind it, we can toughen it, we can drill it, we can nail it, we can so many operations on float glass. Now, laminated glass. Yes, this one, when I'm talking of laminated glass, this one involves the combination of 2 or more glasses used by the use of interlayers. We have so many interlayers that we can use. We can use PVB. The full meaning of PVB is polyvinyl butyrate. We can also use resin. That resin is in liquid. It's in liquid form. So when we combine different glass, it can give us so many. It can give us better thickness. So now, laminated glass, we can use it for so many things. You can use for bulletproof. You can use it for glass floor. We can use it for glass screen. You know, the screen of the glass, when it breaks, it heads in the position. It doesn't fall down. What holds it is a interlayer. That interlayer is PVB, polyvinyl butyrate or resin. Number 3 type of glass is in tinted glass. Is tinted glass. When I'm talking of tinted glass, we are talking of colored glass. We are talking of colored glass. If glass are colored, it doesn't affect the properties of the glass. It doesn't affect the properties of glass. It just to give us different shade of glass. I think you can see on my screen the different glass screen. In fact, if you combine different glass color together by the process of lamination, you are going to get another color that is very, very okay. Toughened glass. Yes, this is toughened glass. When I'm talking of toughened glass is a process you do on glass in order to make the glass to be stronger and less and safe. Because when you toughen a glass, if the glass breaks, it doesn't break into shattered. It breaks into small particles so that it cannot harm anybody. It cannot harm anybody. So, and we use toughen machine to do this to achieve this process. We can use it for so many applications. We can use it in automobile as well. All the glasses by the door of the glass, you know that when they break down into small particles. The process they use upon the glass of the automobile car is toughening. That's why they break into particles like that. That's why it doesn't affect anybody. And we can use, actually, when you toughen glass, it lowers its fission. It lowers its fission. So the clarity will be reduced. It will be reduced. Apart from that, the glass will be very, very safe. Now, number 5 glass that we can use in the building is insulated glass unit. Yes, this glass involves the combination of 2 glasses, 2 or more glasses. You can combine 2 glasses, you can combine up to 3 glasses as well. But inside, now, you know that under lamination, the interlayer we use for lamination is polyvinyl butyral or resin. Now, but for insulated glass, we need more than this. We need spacer that will create a gap in between the 2 glasses. Apart from that, we need to put desiccant into the spacer. That spacer is just like a tube, but it just a small perforated hole inside. So absorb any water, any vapor that comes in between the 2 panes of glasses. So as of that, the insulation will increase. The insulation of the glass increases. And this spacer comes in different sizes. It comes in different sizes. It depends on the target of the customer or the clients. So that's we use a double glazed glass for so many operations. When you want to reduce the noise level of a particular area, you can use a insulated glass. Now let's now talk about the fabrication method. Glass fabrication method, equipment and tools. Now, the purpose of doing this is that if you want to start on the large scale, that's why I divide large scale and lower scale, large scale and lower scale requirements. That's why I divided into 2 like that. Now, number 1, the first thing you do on glass is cutting. What are the equipment required? Cutting machine. Majorly, we need cutting machine and air compressor. See, this cutting machine is a pneumatic machine. It requires air for operation. That's why we need an air compressor. So you need these 2 machines standby if you want to go into large scale cutting of glass. And it uses CNC machine. So you can cut anything you can cut any shape, maybe regular rectangle, square, circle, oval, and any shape. You can generate it through this CNC machine. Now, if you want to go into manual, you can use diamond cutter and cutting table. Diamond cutter and that one is very available. That one is very cheap. The second process is dulling. The equipment required for that one is dulling machine. But if you require polishing, you need air compressor as well, because that one also uses air. Now, if you want to go manual, you can use dulling stone. That's dulling. Drilling now. Drilling. When you want to drill, you need drilling machine. If you want to drill, you want to perform drilling operation on the glass, we need drilling machine. But you can also use manually now. You can use hand drilling tool to drill your glass to generate any size of the hole you need. Now we also have milling operation on glass. Milling operation, when I'm talking of milling operation, you can use that one to generate different types of patches, like different type of shapes for glass fittings. Maybe you want to, so you can use milling machine for that one. That one is a CNC machine as well. It's a CNC machine. But manually, you can use manual cutting tool to generate all this. What you just need is to generate your template and draw the markings and draw the template of the glass and use your manual cutter to trace it out. But for CNC machine, you are going to insert all the parameters on the machine, and the machine will trace out the shape for you. Toughening, yes. Toughening machine is also CNC machine. Is a CNC machine. So now, when you're talking of toughening, toughening involves the what? The heating and rapid cooling of glass from at a very heating at a very high temperature, like about 7 degrees centigrade through a furnace, and cool it down. Cool it down rapidly. Under the glass can become hardened. So we don't have manual tool for that one. That's why I wrote none there. Now, laminating process. Take the machine for that. Depends on the process that you want to apply. Like if you want to use interlayer, PVB interlayer, you need laminating machine and autoclave. You need laminating machine and autoclave if you want to use PVB. And the laminating room, it has to be controlled to a certain degree of temperature and air and water vapor in order to not to affect the glass lamination, so that bubbles will not be in between the two glasses. So after lamination, you now put the glass into the autoclaving machine. The autoclaving machine will complete the laminating process. But if you want to use manual, you can use resin and tape. We have laminating tape and resin. Resin is in liquid form. So, and that tape, they are in different thicknesses. They are in different thicknesses. It depends on the thickness that you want to achieve. Washing machine. So we also need washing machine if you want to do glass fabrication. If you want to toughen your glass, you need washing. If you want to laminate your glass, you need washing. But manually, you can use rag to wash your glass. To wash your glass. Now, another operation is sandblasting. Sandblasting. When I'm talking of sandblasting is a process of applying sand on the glass in order to make it opaque. So by the time you glasses, so you can form a lot of designs for that one. That's a machine. And if you want to use manual, you can use air compressor for that in order to generate. Yes, double glazing now. In order to get insulating glass, we need a double glazing machine. That machine is start from cutting to patient that you can carry on that one. But if you want to use manual, that one's not a problem. So you can use sealant and pressure. You can use sealant and pressure. So for your sealant, it's like all these silicone, the spacer in between the glasses, and press the glass. So those are the fabrication processes on the glass. Now, having said all this, let's now talk about the benefit of glass. Number one is transparency. Transparency. If you want transparency in your building, don't look other place than to look for glass, like glass showroom and sub front and other thing. Number two benefit of glass, water is dust proof and waterproof. Dust doesn't affect the glass because the surface of glass is glossy. It's glossy. You can easily clean it. So, and water doesn't affect it like all other materials, like metals and wood. So it doesn't affect it. Color availability. There are so many colors of glass that are available. You can choose any other one, any one you want. So there's no need to reduce the cost of painting. Yes, aesthetically appealing. Wow. If you use glass, glass building is very, very aesthetical. So that's one of the benefits of using glass as your building material. UV stable. Yes, over a long period of time, when you compare it with all other materials used in a building, they are not affected by what? By weather condition. So number 6, weather and rust resistance. They cannot rust. Glass doesn't rust. Glass doesn't rust, unlike other material. Insulation or insulator of electricity. Insulator of electricity. That's one of the benefits of glass. Abrasion resistance. It doesn't scratch. It doesn't scratch just like that. So now, and apart from that, when you use it for space partition, it increases. It's to advantage. It's advantage when you compare it to block. So the space consumed by the glass is very, very lower, like 10 mm, compared it to block, going to about 100 mm. So you can see the space. Now, job opportunity in glass fabrication. Job opportunity. Number 1, you can be a glass dealer. Glass dealer, you can be an importer and importer of glass. You can be selling glasses, and actually it's capital intensive. So number 2, you can be a production engineer. You can be a production engineer. You can also be a glass installation engineer. All those glass houses that you are seeing is work of installation engineer. Anytime installation engineers work, they just take you to the factory for production engineer to work upon them. You can also glass accessory dealers. You can also be selling the accessory of glasses. That one is also allowed, and they are very, very lucrative. Industrialists, you can become industrialists in glass by having your own factory. You can also be automobile glass dealer by supplying any glass that got broken, get the template and take it to the factory so that they can prepare it for you. You can also become maintenance engineer. Yes, there are so many companies, like where I work last, Ace Glass. When we wanted to install our machines, the installation engineer came away from South Africa, and the company is in China. So one of the companies in China, another company is in Germany. So you can see now, and they have their installer, glass machine installer at South Africa. We can also explore this opportunity. So thank you so much for the opportunity given to me to present this, to make this presentation. I've also attached some pictures of glass building. You can go to, if you go to page 10, as from page 10, you see some of the buildings, some of the glass building that you can achieve through the glass fabrication. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Engineer Gabriel. We are so grateful. That was a beautiful presentation. Does anybody have any question, please? Next 8 minutes. Does anybody have any question in the next 8 minutes? Okay, in the absence of none, while I just say one or two things, because glass is actually one of my areas too. Interestingly, people may not know. And I have done intensive research on it. We have about 3 or 4 companies producing glass in Nigeria.
Okay.
And but we don't have anyone that is Nigerian-based company. Out of those 3 or 4 companies, if I'm very, very sure with my statistics, all the 4 are Chinese. And I keep asking myself, is Nigeria coming from? What are area of interest? We have an industry that has a glass demand of over 150,000 tons per annum. Is everybody hearing me? And we are not talking of producing glass. The presentation of my brother is talking about the second tier level of glass users when the glass has been produced. All the glass we use in Nigeria is being shipped into Nigeria. And the 4 glass companies, 70% of it is being shipped out of Nigeria. As a matter of fact, the many percentage is low quality glass that is given to us. So it's high time that as Nigeria, we start looking at production of best. We have very quality silica that's used for glass. We have it in Igbokoda in Ondo State. We have very high quality silica also in the Sahel region of the country. And this silica is of purity level of as high as 88% to 85%, 88% to 95%, which is very good for glass. And even the one in Bokodai is low iron glass. So it's high time as engineers we start looking into glass production from the raw materials. The raw materials are very much available in Nigeria. We've heard of one glass industry before at Ondo, Oluwa Glass. And in my research, I got to know that Oluwa Glass stopped producing because of soda ash prices that went up in the international market. It might interest me to say that even the glass companies in Nigeria too are actually having the same problem, because I'm very well informed what is happening there. The furnaces keeps on, but there is no production of glass as much because of the high cost of soda ash. So as engineers, we should think of starting businesses. We should think of business alliances with international investors to set up our own locally produced glass industries and see to the raw materials to be produced. Without this, Nigeria cannot move forward. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry that we can actually make it happen. But it's quite unfortunate that we're not thinking in this line. The people that had the heart to do it, I don't know, probably we don't have such kind of entrepreneurs anymore. I would like people to respond to what I've said, also in line with the line of the discussion that my brother just gave. Thank you.
Hello, can we contribute?
Good day, sir.
Yes, please contribute. Questions or contribution, please.
Okay, do I have the floor now? Hello?
Yes, please. Yes, please. Please speak on.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Kindly introduce yourself.
Okay, once again, my name is Engineer Dr. Agbola. Yeah, I want to speak in line with what the last speaker, the person that contributed. I want to speak in line with what he just said. Number one, I want to congratulate the presenter of today's presentation. It's a well-packaged presentation. I pray for more of God's wisdom for you. Thank you so much. Like the last speaker just said, actually what he said is totally true. We have about 4 glass industry in Nigeria. I know of a West African glass. I heard about Beta Glass, and I was opportune to have my NYSC at Glass Force Limited, Aba, Oboye. So that was 2009 to 2010. When I was there, I was able to be exposed to so many things so many opportunities that we are not exploring in Nigeria. This particular company was owned by Lebanon, and the company and the main materials that they use for glass production, majorly bottle. They produce bottle, different kind of bottle that they use in Coca-Cola, Nigerian breweries, and then some also the glass. So now the major product the major raw material that they use is silica sand and all other things like maybe those things that will soften that will reduce the melting temperature are being imported from abroad. But the main raw material is silica. So I look at it, I say we have so many silica in Nigeria that are rich enough. But the Nigerians, we are not looking in that direction. Everybody is just looking at the oil industry and some other white collar jobs that they think that fetch them money overnight. So I think it will be better if we can put our house in order, we engineers, and do something in this direction. Like this fabrication is it's like a secondary aspect of the glass as it's being put that the fabrication or how the glass is being produced. When I was done in my undergraduate days, we only know that glass is formed from silica. The process of how it is being melted, how it passes through different stages, process to be able to get your desired product. No one will actually tell you. And even if they tell you, you don't have hands-on practical to see. So thank God for the NYSC that exposed me to such. I wouldn't have even known it. So, like I want to join my voice with the last speaker that we should look in that direction. And one of the challenges why most of the glass companies normally fold up after 20 to 25 years, from the information I gathered from one of the experts when I was in my NYSC days, that they said the furnace that they use that is being fired by gas, or sometimes they use AGO to fire the furnace, that the furnace, to build the furnace alone can take them like 5 years. And if the furnace spoils, the money that the capital required to build another furnace is so huge that they need to have another furnace in place, such a way that once the previous one that they are using, once that one pack up, they can easily switch. But because of the LGD, which capital and some other things, once they operate for like 20 to 25 years, they fold off and they might not be able to continue with the business. So this is my own experience as far as the glass production is concerned. Thank you for the opportunity to contribute. I'm grateful.
Thank you, Engineer Dr. Agbola. That was actually very, very good. I thank you for buttressing my opinion. You know, as I said earlier on, the opportunities in the glass industry is inexhaustible, and we need to really look at it. And this is why there should be a clearance call by the engineers. Probably we should have a kind of cooperative to set up our own privately owned industries. It's not something impossible, you know, and getting financing when we have experts that can do feasibility studies. We have local engineers that can conduct these feasibility studies, both technical and financial. We can actually get this project off the ground. You know, I remember when I got in contact with one of the Chinese companies, and these people made a statement that was an eye-opener, that they are ready to bribe me $2 million if I can give them information. And I said, wow, in my own country, I should give information. I had that information, I didn't sell it out, and I'm not selling it out. So we need to start looking into these areas very well. And I can tell you, if we actually harness the opportunities there, there will be economic recovery in our nation. We should not throw our jewels to. We should not throw our. Hello, Engineer Bola, please kindly mute. We should not throw our opportunities to foreigners.
Engineer Abayomi's hand is up.
Thank you. Over to you, Engineer Abayomi.
All right, thank you very much. I'm Engineer Dr. Abayomi. Now, mine is like a question, because I know we are into renewable energy. And solar cells are made from most of the solar panels we have here in Nigeria are important? The silica we have there and the things that are needed, do we have them? Is the silica pure enough, or do we have the raw material to produce solar cells here, so that that technology can be cheaper, made cheaper, and we can go into the production and even develop expertise in this area of solar technology using solar panels? Is like a question. I have seen that there are about three people that are involved in the glass industry here, and I know that the solar cell and solar technology, most of it is based on glass. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Engineer Bayomi. I can actually respond to that also because I did my research on that. When you want to make use of solar cells, produce solar cells and solar glass, you need silica purity of 99.99%. And the silica purity that we have in Nibokoda is by our research, RMMRDC, it's just about 98%. And if it undergoes purity, I don't think it's going to reach that high level. But I know that in Africa, Northern Africa, we have Algeria, we have in Morocco, that they have very high level of purity of silica, that can be used for those kind of solar cells. But Nigeria, no. But for glass production, we have silica that's good enough for our own local glass production. But we're talking about optical glass. Optical glass, you need very high level of purity of silica. Solar glass, you need very high level of purity of silica, which is 99% minimum. And the ion level must be 0.005. 0.005. Our own ion level is 0.01. It's still high. It's still high. Thank you. If anybody has additions to what I've said or any contradiction, is okay. I would like to hear.
I think we can move on because of time factor. Thank you.
Thank you, my chairman. I will hand over to my chapter chairman, Engineer Abdulganil, to kindly present the certificate of our brother while Engineer Peter gets ready. Is Engineer Peter in the house, please?
Let me check.
Okay.
I've not seen him. He has not yet joined. But meanwhile, let's go ahead and do the presentation of certificates. And the host make me a co-host, or will display the certificate on the screen. Engineer Wasiu.
You are the host now, sir.
Okay, thank you. Is he showing host disable me? Or?
You are the host, sir. Did you join with two systems?
Host disabled.
Okay, just a minute, sir.
Sir?
You have two systems on. That was what happened.
Use the laptop, please.
Okay. So, go ahead, sir.
Okay.
Are you able to do it now, sir?
Yes.
My chairman, okay.
Certificate of participation. This certificate is awarded to Engineer Kabir Bill Wahab, RNG, MNSC, NIMechE, for his active and significant participation as a facilitator on the topic glass fabrication as a profession for young engineers in our career enhancement seminar held this day, May 25th, 2022. Signed, Engineer Abdulgani Tiamiyu, NIMechE Lagos Chapter Chairman, Engineer Olufisayo Adeluola, Committee Chairman. Congratulations to Engineer Wahab for this beautiful presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you, my chairman. I hope I can be heard very well. Is Engineer Peter available now to take the third presentation?
Let me check.
The third presentation is on welding opportunities for young engineers.
It's not yet on. Actually, I was told some minutes ago that he's not feeling very well, but he will join. He may not be able to show himself where he's getting some treatment, but he can still discuss with us in audio form, not in video form. So let me get back to him if you can see who come. If not, who will take the last speaker, Engineer Wasiu Oyedepo, to take the third position, while we hold on for Engineer Peter Ibogwe to come in as last presenter. So just give me a moment, please. Engineer, good morning. Well done. This is Engineer Tiamiyu.
All right, sir.
Hello, engineer. Hello, can somebody hear me?
Engineer Nobajo, can hear you, sir.
Okay, yeah, thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm happy to join this conversation, because anytime I hear anything about entrepreneurship for engineers, I'm always very, very happy. My question goes to the last presenter, Oyedepo, Wasiu Oyedepo, I think, that spoke on glass production in Nigeria. I have written some question on the chat section, but I don't know if you saw it. I'm sorry for taking us back. What I typed there is that how are we going to be able to survive in the glass making industry without suffering the same problem that has been bedeviling those who have been in that field for a longer in the past. I was opportune to work at Guinea Glass at Agbara. I think it's now called Better Glass. You know, it used to be called Guinea Glass. It used to be called Delta Glass. Well, I mean, it goes through some transformation. I'm sure that we know the one at Agbara. I saw the complex, how big it is. They are self-reliant in power production, especially in the firing of their furnace. They have a very big tank farm, you know, for storage of diesel oil. Then they also have connection to gas. But I see it as a very big industrial sector. Well, the first question is, can this be scaled down to a small-scale industry? Are we sure this can be scaled down to a small-scale industry? That is number one. Number two, how are we sure that the cost of diesel, the cost of gas, which is a common denominator problem in Nigeria today, will not affect such venture? You know, it's something I'm interested in, but when I look at, because of my personal experience in that area, when I look at what will go into it in terms of power requirement, in terms of footprint, you know, it's quite large. So can these actually be scaled down to the one where, you know, joint ventures, individuals can be able to have such industry and venture into it? That's my question.
Okay, Engineer Wahab, are you responding to that? Any response?
I can actually respond to that.
Okay,
being on
go
the
ahead.
research side.
Go ahead.
Yes.
Yeah.
One key raw material for the glass industry is constant electricity. Now, not just constant electricity, the electricity must be cheap and readily available 24 hours, because you need that electricity to fire the furnace. And the furnace must burn 24 hours non-stop for the next 20 to 25 years. So it's not something that you can play with epileptic power supply. All the industries presently that we have in Nigeria right now, they are connected to gas supplies. From research, it's actually it was about 50% more expensive using diesel, but with the escalated cost of diesel, diesel is not actually economically feasible for that industry anymore, because we are talking about 3 times the cost using diesel compared with gas. You know, I remembered when I did the cost analysis and I got into discussion, you know, with the experts. You know, when we are talking about $7.8, you know, for 1 million metric ton, you know, of gas, which we're talking about, we're talking about 50% higher when you're talking about diesel. But right now it's 3 times. So that's number one. Talking about the scaling down, when the higher you scale up,
Yeah, continue. We can hear you.
It's like hello. It's like Engineer Fisayo has muted himself. Are you back?
Sorry, I am back, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
okay.
Talking about scaling, the 3 industries out of the 4 industries, I know of 3 very well. The one in Edo State producing 600 tons per day. One in Agbara, CNG produces 500 tons per day. Another industry in Ondo State right now is planning 500 tons per day. And but one can actually scale it down to about 80 tons. Initially, the first research was about, okay, no, not 80, 180 tons per day, which is just about less than half, about 30% of the average in Nigeria. So I can actually have 180,000 tons, 180 tons per day production size. But the disadvantage is that it might not be economically feasible. The break even might be extended. When others are talking about a break even of about 5 years, because it's 180 tons, you'll be talking about break even of about 8 years to 10 years before you start making money, from it. That's why the higher the scale, the easier to break even, and the cheaper the price, the production cost of the glass itself. So that's why if you see an average industry, they are always looking at the higher scale, play it based on the demand also, the demand. Right now, I can tell you that we still have a lag of about 50% demand not yet met, despite the fact that we have 4 industries in Nigeria. 50% demand not yet met. So it's still a very, very valuable industry. And the population index of Nigeria determines also, the population index of Nigeria determines the demand for glass, because more buildings will be coming up. The more the buildings that we erect in Nigeria, the more the demand for glass, And if you look at it, even in high bar areas, the demand for glass is increasing. Look at Lekki. They still need more glass. Most of the buildings that are coming up in metropolitan cities right now, they are talking about glass buildings. So the business size is there, the market size is there, and it's something worth exploring in Nigeria.
Yeah, thank you very much. You have done a little justice to my question, but just a follow-up would be, then what is the role of the financial sector in all this? As you just pointed out now, if you want to scale down, you need to go, your capacity should be about 180,000 tons per day. So that facility alone, you before you can begin to make real profit, you are talking about a minimum of about 5 years. How can we do the financing? The financing, do we have a bank in Nigeria today that will give you 5 years before you can begin to make profit? They want to sit with you when you're getting the loan and ask you questions objectively. When are you going to be making profit? Unless you want to bring in partners from overseas that want to bring in money, and then partners that understand the industry, that knows what it takes for it to incubate and for it to begin to make returns on investment. So that is another thing, another area where we have to also look at. How can we really, make our financial sector to be up to this task? This is a very good thing. Engineers are willing and ready, but we need finance. Okay. At affordable rates.
Yes. Yeah. All right. Let me quickly come into that. Talking about the finance, it's actually a very key aspect that has to be solved before any project takes off. I can tell you that there is no bank in Nigeria that can take up finance of those kind of projects. The reason is that what we do in Nigeria is called retail banking. We don't, they claim to do project financing, but what we do in Nigeria is retail banking, commercial banking. Let's get that established first. Then if you are to look at the back of industry, getting facilities from Bank of Industry, which should be a single-digit loan of about 8%. The challenge that the Bank of Industry we have right now is the fluctuations of the dollar.
Yeah.
At the point at which the research was done by my consortium, we were looking at dollars about 380 naira to a dollar. Right now, the parallel market is talking about 612, about day before yesterday. So definitely, anybody that actually did a research of $380, is not going to be able to. We have challenge in paying back the loan. We have challenge in paying back the loan, and that's why if one is going to look at this kind of financing, this kind of financing has to be done by World Bank, IFC, and it has to be backed up by NIGA, Multi Investment Guarantee Agency, partial risk guarantees, and this kind of guarantees have to be in place to take care of as an insurance for any kind of high fluctuation of the exchange rate. So these are the challenges that we are having in Nigeria here, and but for somebody to get NIGA guarantee, you need to buy the guarantees. You need to buy the guarantees, a fraction, about maybe 1.2% of the entire volume of the project. 500 tons per day production line of glass. We're talking of about $240 million project. So, and you should need about 30% counterpart funding as equity, which is 1/3 of it, about $80 million. So which bank is ready to put down $80 million in Nigeria here? Where are our financial joint ventures in Nigeria here? And this is why we should call a forum of all our banks, if they really are serious about moving the country forward. We have our banks that have venture parts of their businesses. They should come together with this kind of funds, equity funds, to get the project out, and get it funded. Secondly, international finance will give counterpart loans, very low interest of about 2.5 to maximum about 4%. And they can finance you for as long as 15-20 years. 15-20 years. So these are the information that I have, at my fingertips concerning it. And then what is needed finally is a bankable business plan. A bankable business plan that is endorsed by the likes of KPMG and PwC. And I can tell you, the investors that I actually know of, I've actually met, that are willing to, if we can prove that the demand is available in Nigeria. If the demand is available and the project is bankable by KPMG and PwC, why not? If not, we will actually get the projects off the ground. Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you, our honorable public secretary. You have at least to some extent answered my former very good partner in Lagos chapter, Engineer Yodeji Onabanjo. His quest for business in Nigeria. The only thing I want to add is that we engineers, we should not be playing at the background. That has been the problem. We are not at the aim of affair. We are decision bit taking. All of us that are interested in businesses, in moving forward, we are not there where decisions have been taken, whether in terms of politics, in terms of finance, or the rest. So we should show interest. If we are interested and we are part of the players, believe you me, when decisions have been taken, engineers will be there to defend that we need to move forward. Without engineering, there will be problem in a nation. We need to develop, we need to progress. We have the potentials. What is needed, what is required is how to harmonize all these things and get move. So we, by God's grace, coming next month, we'll be having our business luncheon. So we'll be looking forward to people like Engineer Onobanjo to have his input there. We're already looking for how to do the event. So as time goes on, I will contact you. And some other people that are business minded. We need to rub minds together, not only talking. We need to actualize what we are saying day in, day out, year in, year out. Thank you very much. I did promise, before I go for the last presentation, there are some messages on our chat box. Engineer Ohodo, Godwin Ohodo, FNSC, Vice President, is requesting for the presentation. I believe all of us that are on today, we can send in our email to the Publicity Secretary or Technical Secretary so that we can send all this to us through email. Or our WhatsApp number, we can also send it to the platform so that we can get it. Secondly, from Engineer Tani Mowo, is also giving his own point on machineries. He said even other additive used for the production of glass, not to talk of the machineries. I think the major step is for active local, I think the major step for effective locally sourced major requirements for local production of quality glass at competitive price. Another message from Engineer Colin Nwokocha. Okay, I just sent his email address. So I think the Public Secretary and the Technical Secretary will take notes. You can send your email to this to the chat box so that they can pick it up and we get all the presentation today. Thank you all. I've gotten to the third speaker, Engineer Peter Ibogwe. As I did told you, he's been in the hospital maybe since yesterday. He was hoping to cook up and give his presentation, though not video. But when I called him some minutes ago, he said the doctors have seized his laptop, so there is no way he can do that. So they want him to rest. So which I believe all of us need rest. We must rest so that we not break down. So kindly pardon the organizers of today's event that out of 4, we'll be having 3. So we'll be calling the last presenter, supposed to be the number 4, Engineer Wasiu Oyedepo, to take the third presentation and the last one for today. Engineer Fisayo Adelola, please go ahead. Thank you. Engineer Fisayo Adelola. Engineer Adelola, can you introduce the third speaker?
Okay. I hereby introduce the third speaker. His name is Engineer Wasiu Oyedepo. He's presently the Technical Secretary of NIMechE Lagos chapter, and I hand over to him the microphone to start his presentation immediately. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. And I want to appreciate the leadership of...
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes. Can you hear me? Can everybody hear me? Engineer,
very well.
Very well.
Very well.
I want to appreciate the leadership of Engineer Abdulgani Temiu for this great opportunity to put together this seminar on career enhancement. I will be talking about coding for the 5th generation engineers. The presentation has actually been prepared targeting the students in mind. So you may have to excuse me for 1 or 2 things which I've put in the presentation. because I actually wanted it to be more interactive so that we want to know who are the people we are talking to and what are the type of intervention we could actually go into. On my screen there, you will see what is the projection that digitalization will cause because of the great lockdown that came because of COVID-19. COVID-19 has come. We thank God that we have survived it, but it has changed the way we do a lot of things. And one of it is the way we interact with each other. And one of the saving grace which we had during the great lockdown was digitalization. And that is the advanced name for coding. Because like what we are having today, we are holding this seminar via Zoom. Zoom is an app that has been coded. So it is coding that is behind apps such as Zoom, which was a very saving grace when COVID-19 came up. So we can see the projection which Microsoft and LinkedIn has made in terms of what's going to be the available jobs due to digitalization. So for anybody that is thinking about tomorrow, you have to really take digitalization very serious. And for you to effectively participate in digitalization, you have to be able to code. Coding is the major language, is the major tool that we use for digitalization. So like I said, the presentation was made with the mind of the students. So I actually have a questionnaire which I wanted to share before. So, and in there, I actually wanted to know how many of the students or how many of the participants have experience in software development. So, but I don't know whether we who are adults will actually like to participate in such survey. So now let me just quickly play this little animation, and please just follow, because I have one or two questions which I want to ask from this animation. I hope you can see the animation. I hope you can see the animation.
Yes, we can see.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes.
But there's no sound.
Yes, it's playing, but okay, let me see. Thank you very much. That was just the small animation. From that animation, can anybody tell me what is the role of the mechanical engineer in the industry we have selected for discussion? That industry that we see in the animation, what is the role of mechanical engineers? Please, I want reaction. Unmute yourself and talk, please. Hello, can anybody hear me? Can we hear me? Hello?
We can hear you. Go ahead.
I said, what is the role of mechanical engineers in the industry that animation depicts? I want you to be interactive, please.
Maybe you should lead the way.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. Yes. What are the roles of mechanical engineers in the water industry? When we talk about coding, coding is a language. I want us to know that. What do we mean by a language? I'm from the Yoruba part of the world. My mother's tongue is Yoruba. So the language we speak is Yoruba. I served in Anambra State where they speak Igbo. And I served with people from the north that speaks Hausa. That language is the same thing if you are talking about coding. In the emerging world, we talk about coding as being the language that is going to dominate. The previous speakers who talk about biomedical and glass production, they told us about machines that have high precision, high repeatability, and in some cases, scalability. All these are made possible because of coding. From the animation we just watched, we could see water production. Water production is so basic that there's nobody today, all of us that were in this presentation, we have taken at least a glass of water today. So that is why I just choose that aspect to talk about. But coding can be applied. Coding is applied in all fields of life today. So in the water production, what are the available opportunities for the mechanical engineer? We talk about home automation, or smart building, what we used to know before as plumbing. We talk about, call our plumber, let him come and lay the water pipe. Today, we talk about smart buildings. Our plumbing systems are not just pipes and fittings again, but we now have automated devices, automation devices that make sure that these our plumbing work effectively. One of it is that you can make sure that people do not have to open the tap for them to use water again. If people just get to the tap and they place anything under it, the water will start running. And if they remove it, the water will stop. That is what we mean by home automation. For to be able to achieve this, you have underlining it is coding. We also talk about process plant automation. When we move away from our houses, where do we get this water from? Normally, we get it from the process plant, the water processing facilities. For those of us that we have boreholes, or for those of us that we even drink pure water, or for those of us that we have public works, we have process plant automation. Nowadays, a water treatment plant are no more running manually. When my brother was talking about glass production. He was telling us that there are some facilities, there are some processes that you can do manually, there are some processes you cannot do manually. Water processing is now going more about automated processes. So as much as possible, it is no more allowed for you to have some manual processes in water treatment plants. For you to be able to now effectively participate. And what do I mean by effectively participate? You can be an operator, like Nigeria is a high consumer of imported things. But if we want to move to the level whereby we'll be producing, somebody was talking about production of some equipment locally. If you want to produce equipment locally now, those equipment must be automated. And for you to be able to automate it at a cost-effective level, you must be able to code the automation equipment. If you buy any code from abroad, it will be so expensive that it will make it impossible for you to sell any of your locally produced machinery. So that's another area where you can function in the water production industry that the animation has shown us. You can function as production of process plant automation. Another thing is that before you process this water, you have to have an intake. I remember I worked excessively with Lagos State Water Corporation, both at their process plants and their intake. That's what we call intaking of water. One of the projects we did for them is that before they will go to the Ogun River at Akute, where they are taking water to come and give us in Lagos. They used to use a meter to look at the height of the water. But now they are not using meters, they are now using sensors. For you to be able to get data from this sensor, because it is the level of the water that is in the river that will determine the number of pumps that will be working, that will be taking the water that is going to be reserved, that is going to be transported to the processing plant. For you to be able to get data from these sensors, and for you to be able to automatically control the number of pumps that will be working at a particular time, for you to be able to measure the health of the pumps that are working, you have to code the system. All these things need coding. It's called automation. If you want to effectively participate in that project, then you must have the ability to code. And these are areas that, in most cases, they are World Bank assisted projects. So if you want to move into that area whereby you could get World Bank assisted projects, it's better you have the ability to code locally. I remember one of the Indian companies won one of the projects for Lagos State Water Project. But the company I was working there with had already done some emergency repairs for them. So the man from Indian, he went to Indian to go and bring automated PLCs. We normally call them PLC. Those are programmable logic controllers. He brought them in. They could not work. They could not work effectively. Then Lagos State water people now told him that, go and contact these people, they have done it before. And what is the secret? Because we have the capability here to program locally, to code locally. So for you to be a fifth generation engineer, you must have the ability to code. Another area that is also very available in Nigeria, in the water industry, is the dam. Because before you do water intake, normally there's always a water reserve that is done, and that water reserve is usually called dam.
Sorry, I think somebody need to unmute himself. It's interfering seriously with the speaker. Please, thank you.
Engineer Adebayo Olusoji. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So I was talking about dam automation. Before you have an intake, you normally have a dam. It is the dam that is used to reserve the water so that they can release the water at some particular time to make sure that there is enough water for the water corporation to intake. So dam is a very versatile industry for mechanical engineers because the dam operation, the dam maintenance is usually carried out by mechanical engineers. You need to release, you need to open the gates. Then in most cases, when you have a very large dam, it's usually also very effective to have hydropower plants attached to it. And from available statistics, hydropower plants are usually the best station of many countries per generation. In Nigeria, we're also depending mostly on our hydropower plant, though Egbe Power Station is a major contributor in the national power grid. So in dam automation, there's a lot of opportunities. You want to make sure that you continue to continually measure the water level, and you are able to automatically make sure that you release enough water to make sure that the dam does not overflow. What we normally have in Nigeria, whereby when the dams are released, there is always flooding. What happened, I think it was 2010 during Jonathan, Jonathan have to come to Owode Ajegunle. It's not something that speaks well of the Nigerian mechanical engineers. But I can tell you, because I've visited the dam that is involved, I've did some research there, I can tell you that part of what is their challenge is that that dam is not fully automated. But there's a lot of opportunities there for we engineers. So if you are able to code, you can go into dam automation, which, like I did said, is usually World Bank assistant project. We are not talking about, though there are some small scale dams that you can also go into. I also mentioned that if you have a dam is not usually for just domestic water consumption. It's usually also for some other things like hydropower generation. Hydropower generation is mechanical. Though, if you ask any domestic person that who are the people that are in charge of electricity, they will say they are the electrical. But let me inform you, if you go to Egbe, if you go to Shiroro, or if you go to any of the major power generation stations, it is the mechanical engineers that are the king in those areas. So you can also go into hydropower automation. And let me tell you this, don't think that, you see, one of the ways, I remember when the company I was working with before, we were working on a hydropower generation. The federal government presently is encouraging that a lot of small-scale industries develop in the hydropower. But if you want to bring in an hydropower station into the country that has all the full components, you may not be able to get, you may not be able to break even at a very fast rate. But if you bring in the component, most especially the mechanical component, and you now code locally, you do your coding locally, then it becomes more profitable because the cost comes down. Number two, it also becomes better maintainability also grows up. That's another area, because if you I've worked extensively in the automation industry. Most of our research institutes, federal government institutes, one of the problems they have, they will bring automatic machine from India, from China. After 3 months, it will break down. It will take them another 3 months to process the visa of the maintenance engineer to come into the country. By the time he comes into the country, it will cost them very high amount of money to host him for maybe 2 weeks. After he goes away, 6 months again, it will break down. But maintainability will become better if you automate locally. And this is a very huge, industry for we mechanical engineers. And area, so these are some of the areas that mechanical engineers can function in the water industry. Like I said, I have only chosen the water industry for ease of explanation. Coding, like I said, is a language, just like any language that we speak. And if you ask yourself, because if you want to ask questions, is it compulsory for me to be able to code? Is it compulsory for you to be able to speak a language? That is the question. Is it compulsory? If your answer is in the affirmative, then it is better for you to learn how to code so that you'll be able to function in the emerging world. Now, I was going to show participants how to code, but because we don't have students there, but if we still have people who want to learn how to code, I could just guide us a little bit to work with that animation which I did display. So these are some of the areas where mechanical engineers can function in the 5th generation industry, in the emerging technology. So what we have now presently, we talk about artificial intelligence. It's everywhere. But let me tell you, mechanical engineering equipment are the ones that need more of artificial intelligence. And that is why you talk about robotics. Robots are not any other equipment than electromechanical equipment. And the people that work more on it are the mechanical engineers, because you talk about the motor, which is something very, very important. Motors are mechanical based. So for you to be able to control these motors precisely, repeatedly, and in a very scalable manner, then the mechanical engineer must know how to code. Like the first speaker said about biomedical engineering, if you don't, the medical doctor cannot, they cannot design and construct those equipment which he displayed that can operate human beings, without the doctors present. It is only the mechanical engineer that are specialized in biomedical engineering. And the major thing that person will be doing will be to code. If you cannot code, then you cannot function optimally. You can, yes, you may do some things, but you'll not be able to function at the highest level. So at this point, I would like to call for any questions that we may ask for me to be able to drive home my point better. Thank you very much. And I appreciate everybody for listening to the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Engineer Wasiu Ejiko. That was a great presentation. Please, I would like contributions and I would like questions to be forwarded to him. Thank you. Okay, in the absence of none, I would like to ask a question. In meteorology,
okay.
we need data, and our country does not have data. And how is it possible for individual corporations, private corporations, to make use of coding in getting data for wind speed, for solar, for precipitation of humidity of water in the atmosphere? Thank you.
Thank you very much. The meteorological industry is another very big industry. The accusation you gave, and Nigeria does not have data. Well, maybe that's the information you have, because I've been opportune to have visited and make presentation at the National Meteorological Center at Abuja. That's inside the Abuja International Airport. And from there, I visited their, is it their mast or what do they call it? You see, it's not that we don't have data, but like I said before in my presentation, the problem we have in Nigeria is that we are import dependent. what they have in Abuja, the mast, I think, can see the whole of the Nigerian airspace. From Abuja, they can monitor the whole of the Nigerian airspace. So there's nothing that can happen. They say a plane gets lost. They will find it from what they have in Abuja. It's a very powerful equipment. So it is not that we don't have data, but one of the major challenges we have is that we import all these things full-fledged. And when we now import it, operation and maintenance become problem. But these are things we can actually develop. Now, if any company need a small meteorological center, if they consult people like us, we could actually help them put it together. And like I said, the development of the coding will be done locally. One, to bring the cost down. Two, to make it maintainable. So, and it will be operational. So it is very possible for engineers, mechanical engineers, to go into this industry, and it is very possible for us to provide that service. Like I said, I've done a lot of extensive work in the Nigerian Meteorological Agency, so I can tell you precisely that it is possible for any company to have a small-scale meteorological center that will be fully automated here in Nigeria. Do I answer your question, sir?
Yes, you have answered my question, but I'm always data specific.
Yes.
Nigeria has 54 meteorological stations.
Okay.
Nigeria needs 6,400 meteorological stations.
Okay.
Because there is a measuring criteria, to determine how many meteorological stations are needed per square kilometer, looking at the landmass of Nigeria. So there's a big dearth or comparison when you are taking 54 and 6,400 that we are going to. And this margin is what I see coding and local production of our machineries that will be well coded to help bridge that gap. Because we are talking of improving our power generation system in Nigeria. For instance, you want to have a localized windmill or wind turbine. You need data of wind that you have studied over minimum of 6 months to 2 years. And if you want to import equipment in Nigeria to get that data done, you'll be talking of not less than $500,000 if you are talking of a large-scale project. And that's why we need these solutions to be done in small scales, so that if we have interested data-oriented people that can actually get this data and sell this data out to individuals that want to have wind studies data for their installation of their windmills, their wind turbines in small scales, it's actually going to help our country. Instead of us depending on Nigerian meteorology that does not have enough data. It's not that they don't have, but they don't have enough data. And when you're talking about wind is actually site dependent. If you take a wind study for a wind turbine, and when it exceeds a particular square meters, it's not more viable, because it has to give you charts along the aerospace of how the wind turbulence is. It has to give you data for about 1 kilometer radius, depending on the size of the blade, depending on the swept area of the machine itself. You understand me? So that's why we need more of this to be installed. I hope you have gotten where my point of argument is coming from right now.
Thank you very much, Engineer Fisayo. If you can see my screen, the available job opportunity is quite enormous. And when you are looking at this data that has been published by Microsoft and LinkedIn, don't think that all these job opportunities are in the developed world. Most of these job opportunities are in Africa, which is the continent to be that is yet to be tapped. So you are talking about just one of the industry now, which is the meteorological industry. You see, it is like you mentioned, the cost of bringing equipment from abroad are expensive. The reason why they are expensive, most especially automatic machines, is majorly because of the code. If you go and look at the cost of a CNC lathe to the cost of a manual lathe, that is just a basic machine for mechanical engineers, you will see a gap of, I think, between 5 and 10 million in their cost. The major reason being that the CNC lathe has code in it. It's nothing. So if we are talking about the meteorological industry, for instance, now, I've told you that I have worked in that industry extensively. If you want to bring that price down, if you want to bring it to the level where Nigerians can afford it, then it is better you give it to people who have the ability to automate. And that is what we do. So I don't know whether that answers your question. The major component which is making it unaffordable is just the automation, which is the coding. But if you give it to local people, then you'll be able to. And let me tell you this, most of us that are automation engineers are now working in the international space. We are not just working in Nigeria alone. And that is a disadvantage for the Nigerian market. Why do I call it a disadvantage? If I work for a company in the United States, they will pay me at a rate that will make me comfortable here in Nigeria. They will not sell the same equipment to Nigeria. In Nigeria, that has believed that buying an equipment from the United States or from China is what is going to make it more effective. You will buy an equipment which a Nigerian has worked upon from outside the country, and they will give him a price that will kill him here in Nigeria. So there should be a synergy between people who need and people who can provide. And when we are talking about this synergy, I've been in the automation industry for like 15 years now. And I can tell you one of the problems we have in Nigeria is the patience of the end user. If you want to, if you mentioned the issue of the furnace for the production of glass, and you said it will take some years to be able to put this furnace together. If a local Nigerian engineer tells the end user it's going to take that long for him to be able to put an equipment together, the man will say, no, let me go to China and buy a ready-made one. I don't know that I'm communicating. These are part of the challenges we have, especially in the automation industry. And it is making most of us that are in the industry to work for international companies. But it's a disadvantage for Nigeria because we import our expertise, we export our expertise, and our end products are now being re-imported back into the country at a very high cost. So if organizations like NIMechE could provide avenue whereby we could tell people that there's no equipment you want to go and buy out there that cannot be done here in Nigeria. But for you to have an equipment ready in the market, somebody has paid the price for the period of development. So if you are also ready to be able to work along and pay the price for the period of development, the price will come down considerably. And all of us, there will be a lot of more jobs, and all of us is going to be able to, to go home, rich. That is what China did.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Hello, sir. Okay, sorry. I have patiently been listening to you, and I can see the passion in you, and that I can see that you actually know your onions. You know what you are talking about. This coding you are talking, I want to believe it is the same thing we call programming, right? Is it programming you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay,
yes,
so I
yes,
know coding is a 21st century language that is now
yes,
trying to overshadow programming.
yes,
PLC programming has been around. I know it's evolving. It's
yes,
evolving. I believe it is what is tied to control systems,
yes,
that controls sensors, that controls
yes,
motors,
yes,
controls switches and valves in industries.
yes,
Okay,
yes,
so what I want to know is this: you are into this field, right? That is what
yes,
you do.
yes.
And according to you now, you said you also serve international clientele. You serve clients overseas.
Yes.
So can you tell us a little bit about that? Because that is an area that will make your service to be sellable to young graduates, even somebody who is still in school, an undergraduate engineer in school. It's such a pity that we don't have many of them here now to listen to you. This is an opportunity for them to learn what they can be making, how they can be making money even while they are still in school. So can you tell us a little more? We are not saying you should tell us the secret of your business. I know you're not going to tell us the secret of your business, but can you elucidate a little bit more on that aspect? That
okay, thank you very much.
What exactly are you doing? Which industry are you serving? That is an area where I'm interested in, and I also want to tell you that I'm interested in becoming your student.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir, for that last statement. Like you did say,
you pay royalty to NIMechE.
I was actually going to introduce us to just a little bit coding. Like I said, the presentation was meant to actually have that aspect, because I wanted to show you. I wanted to that animation. I wanted to bring it out for people to be able to code, to do some things and see that they can code. When we say coding, like I rightly mentioned, it's just another language for programming. And when we talk about our motherboards now, it's just another name for PLCs or PAC, programmable automation controllers or programmable logic controllers. Now, we are now talking about nanotechnology. PLCs used to be a little bit bigger and they are more robust, but now we now have boards that are much more smaller than PLCs. Yes. Right. So that is why we call it coding. And nowadays, before coding used to be programming used to be a specialized course. Like I said, it has now become a common language. So Lagos State has adopted that they want students right from primary school to be able to code. So because that is what is going to drive the next generation. You ask about some of our international, relationship. If you open most equipment that are from the United States, you will see that the PLCs that will be running there usually come from a company we call National Instruments. For years, I worked with National Instruments and I developed code using their lab view. And there are a lot of projects which we did using the National Instruments lab view. So if you go to National Instruments, they are a major player in the automation industry. So if you want to have skills in a National Instrument lab view, that's something I can train people upon. And you want a project that will execute using such a very high robust, because when you talk about National Instrument lab view, that's a very high level, normally we use it for very high level projects. We work with EGMI, we work with Lagos State Water Corporation. We normally use National Instrument LabVIEW because it's a very high level programming language and it is very, very robust. When you now talk about hardware suppliers, you talk about Advantech. That's another partner we work with. They are from China. Advantech supply a lot of automation equipment, and we work very extensively with them. So that's another international relationship which we maintain. We also maintain international relationship with Advantech. So from both ends, both either from United States, which is a large NI, or from China, Advantech, these are some of the international organizations we partner with to be able to get our projects done. And like I mentioned to you, for you to bring the cost of any automatic machine down, all you have to do is that give the project to local engineers like us. And if you are already in the industry and you are having challenges with your PLCs, talk to us so that we can together work on it and be able to make it both the cost come down and also the operationability. You see, maintainability is really a very big challenge in industry. I do not want to mention some of the international, some of the local industries I've worked with. Understand me? But one of the challenges they have, number one, is this dollar rate that is going up. And sometimes bringing in experts from abroad. That is when they now run to the local engineers. And when you now tell them, give us time, this is how much it will take us to be able to give you this service. Some of them say, it's too late, it's taking too long. But it doesn't take long. Because if you want that technology to be transferred, then the time, you have to also use time to be able to do it. So these are some of the international collaboration we are into.
So in a way, you can train people. That is where I'm going. You can train people to become PLC programmers.
Yes.
Okay. How long does it take if you want to train people? And what is the cost? If it is something you don't want to share in this platform, we can do that after this program so that we don't take our time.
Okay, thank you very much. Actually, this program is expected to lead to another program. This program is expected to whet people's appetite. And if we have people who are interested in knowing more about some of the topic we have discussed today, NIMechE want to organize training programs for people. So in collaboration with NIMechE, we'll come out with flyers, what's going to be the cost and what's going to be the duration for you to be able to learn some of these languages. But please, sir, if you are interested, let us know on the platform that you are interested in PLC programming.
Okay, thank you. I'm interested.
What's the name, sir?
I'm currently in the United States now. What I must tell you that it is better for me to exchange my dollar to buy the program and learn it in Nigeria than to learn it here.
Okay. What's the name, sir?
Yeah. My name is Ayodeji Onabanjo.
Okay, sir.
So you can imagine. Yes. No. MNSC.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. You did a presentation on the gas industry some years back with NIMechE or something like that, or was it on entrepreneurship? Yes. But I think I have. Yes. Thank you very much, sir.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes.
Yes. Good afternoon. My name is Henry Olajide. Can I go ahead?
Yes.
Okay, my name is Henry Olajide. Yes, good afternoon to the hosts. That's the person of you, Mr. Wasiu Edepo. And a big good afternoon to someone here, Engineer Ayodeji Onabanjo. I met him on LinkedIn. and I think I've had a discussion with him. I don't know if he can still remember me. He's in US. We spoke. I think we met when he was trying to connect with CNC machine. Machine.
Oh, okay. Okay, yes. Thank you, brother. Yes, I remember now. Yeah.
Machine to Oshobo, Nigerian machine. Hello. Hello.
Hello. Can hear you.
Hello, we can hear you.
We can hear you. Please go on.
Hello. Oh. Oh. Okay. Okay. You can hear me, but I can't hear myself. So
we can hear you. Please go on.
Okay, sir. So I like to raise some points from what you said. That's Engineer Wasil. I was privileged. Okay, I enrolled in programming with AETI, Automation Engineering Training Institute in Lagos. Here is at Surulere in year 2018. I enrolled for automation engineering, and it was heavy. The price was heavy. As at that time, we paid 250,000 naira for automation training. It was a 3-month training then. So, but I can say that it was just as if those of us that did the training, that batch, we lost money because the aim at which the training institutes brought up the training, it wasn't achieved. They just brought some inferior people that are not working in the industry, people they have trained to train us. So we didn't really get, but I was still able to get on 1 or 2 things. They called it a practical, hands-on practical training, extensive training for automation programming, most especially semantic S7 PLC. So, but we didn't get what we really wanted. They just introduced us to the programming templates, and also they gave us a hint on Allen Bradley programming too. So I want to ask, I don't know, what's the plan for this training you are coming up with? How extensive are we going to learn? Is it just that we will be introduced to programming? Are we going to see the things we are going to be working on? Because programming is just for you to do something, to give a command. Like, if this happens, this should happen. So you are programming it, you are coding it already. So are we going to be having some facilities available, or we are just going to be learning the programming abstractly? Are we going to be having some facilities to see, okay, I programmed this and I saw that, okay, I programmed that my turbocharger should start work when the temperature is at 40 degrees C. And if it's not at 40 degrees C, even if a valve is open, it should work. Are we going to be seeing all these things that we are going to be programming? So I want to know more about what the plan for this training is, because I'm really interested in the training. I just want to know what the plan for the training is. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Engineer Oluwaseun Funmiabi. Am I right?
No, I am Henry. I am using my wife's phone. I got issues
Henry
with my
what?
Olajide.
Henry Olajide. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much, sir. Yes. Let me take some questions from the chat. Then I'll come to your own. Now, somebody was asking about the wind turbine. He said, talking about the wind power turbine for power generation, as mentioned, what are the areas of consideration for coding that can actually provide viable solution in the area? When we talk about wind turbine, or power, for power generation. Like my PRO said, chairman of this committee, the first thing you need is data. You must have enough data for you to be able to take a decision. Is it viable to site a wind turbine here or not? For you to be able to get this data, because some of these data, when we say the data for wind, you need a 24 hours data, not just some few hours. When we say 24 hours data, that means your data sensors must continue to collect data for 24 hours. They must continue to log this data, and this data must continue to be stored so that you can also analyze them. Then you have to be able to analyze this data at a very fast rate. So the first thing you have to put before you can say you want to site a wind turbine is that you must have a data collection center. And for you to be able to work 24 hours and at a very high iteration, it is better that your wind station is automated. In that wise, you not have somebody that you said should go and take the wind measurement at 12 midnight. That person will have slept off. But if you are using an automated machine, it will continue to collect the data, log it, and also be able to take decisions. So you will be able to do data analysis, data visualization, for to be able to, first of all, determine the feasibility of siting your wind turbine at that place. So for you to have an automated data station, that is a very viable place that we can start from. For you to say we want to establish a wind turbine. I have to tell you that from available information, Egmi Power Station took 3 years before, after signing the agreement for the building of Egmi Power Station, 3 years of data collection that the contractors were coming to collect data. So the same thing, if you want to say you want to site a wind turbine, don't think that it's going to be a 1 week data collection. You have to be ready for a whole log. So, but also with automation, you can predict some of these things. Okay, you have collected your wind data for a year. You now want to predict that maybe in the next 2 or 3 years, these are some of the areas where coding comes into place. Like I said, maybe we should talk some high-level language, programming, PLCs. That is where all these things comes into play. Data visualization, data analysis, you understand me? Artificial intelligence. Those are the areas where all these things come into play. So the first thing you have to establish, if you want to establish a wind turbine, is one, know that you have to have your data collection center before you even determine the viability of the project. Another area which you can now talk about programming is that if you want to bring this wind turbine into the country, it is better you work in partnership with people like us who can now tell you what and what components you should bring into the country and what components you should not bring. If you are bringing a fully because wind turbines are not manual automated, they are usually automatic. If you bring a fully automatic wind turbine, you may not be able to break even at a point where you'll be able to attract investors. But if you bring in just the mechanical aspect and we're able to assist you with the automation aspect, then the price will come down for you to be able to make it visible and attractable to investors. So these are just some of the areas which coding, and like I said, it's not just for us to do the service for you. If you have the opportunity that you are close to potential investors and you want to get the skills, we can train you upon these things so that you'll be able to render that service to your client. So we are not interested in getting your client. We are interested in providing the service which we can train you and support you to be able to do. So that is that on wind turbine. Somebody was asking about the water level sensors and bridges, but that question, I'm not very sure is complete. The person said, just a minute, let me try and get the question again. And the person was asking whether we still ahead. The person said, please, sir, do we still have sensors for water level monitoring in our country to prevent bridges? I don't know what that person means by to prevent bridges, but let me guess, to prevent bridge collapse or to even prevent the ugly incident that we continue to see in our country. I think it was 2010 that the whole Lagos was almost submerged because of the water that was released from Oyo Dam. Let me tell you precisely, I've been to Oyo Dam, I've been to the hydro turbine. For you to get to the hydro turbine, that means I've been to the floor of that dam itself, of the river. I've done extensive work on it. We submitted proposals and a lot of things. But like I said, the problem we are having there, and that is the problem many Nigerian federal government agencies are having. We depend on imported technology. When you depend on imported technology and you are not exchanging anything to pay for it, apart from the money you are getting from petrol, then definitely the cost of maintenance will go up. And before you can say, you know, Jack Robinson, you will not be able to operate most of these things. I am from Erua, Ibarapa local government. That's the headquarters of Ibarapa East local government. And since I was young, I was told that Oyo Dam is going to be producing power for us. Oyo Dam has a capacity to produce 9 megawatts of electricity. And my town is supposed to be part of the beneficiary town. I've been to that place, I've seen what is there, and I cry for my nation. Why? Because we are just importing things. We have turned ourselves to a dumping site. And we continue to shout that things are not working. This cannot work. When what your indigenes are supposed to do, you're not allowing them to do it. You can go and pick somebody from outside. That person, at the end of the day, before you can start even operation or maintenance, the cost goes up and it shoots you in the leg. So the problem we are having in Nigeria is not that some of these things are not available. Some of them, they cannot maintain them because they are relying on foreign technical partners. I also told you that's another area which is also happening to a lot of federal government projects. I work with some of I do not want to mention them now. Most of their equipment, the people that supplied it have gone out of they are no more existing. So when it now comes to maintaining this equipment, they are now trying to contact people that are no more existing. And this equipment has already been dropped with us. So we have to come in and now put our heads together and call in our foreign partners, and we're not able to be able to make this equipment to be functional. So these are some of the areas which we should know that the problem is not that Nigerians, even Africa, like the slide I shared, and we are talking about digitalization and the job going to blow up. The major jobs are going to be in Africa. But that depends on if our government, if we as a community, we are ready to take up the challenge. Let us also be informed about the AFTA, that is the African Free Continental Trade Agreement. This is also a mechanism to make sure that these foreigners come into our country. If NIMechE does not take the bull by the horn to make sure that Nigerian mechanical engineers are well positioned to be able to take the opportunities, Nigeria is like infinito, because our development is still far behind where we are supposed to be. It's behind our capability. We have so much available, resources in the country that are not being tapped. So unless NIMechE takes the bull by the horn to make sure that you are able to identify and make sure that the presidential order, I think it's order 5, that says that some certain percentage of contracts should be given to local people, must be well, we must make sure it is being followed. So these are some of the areas. So if we are talking about, are there available water sensors that's supposed to be preventing bridge collapses, that's supposed to be preventing flood, some of these things are available, but they are obsolete. Some of these things are available, but the people that are supposed to operate this are not well trained. That is why local engineers should be allowed to work on this type of project. So that is that. Now, I want to come to Engineer Henry's question about the content of the training. Thank you very much. The content of the training, like I said, we are looking at different levels of participants. If we are able to get professionals, because from what I can see in the level of people that are participating in today's program, we are all professionals already in the advanced sector who will be training on PLC programming. So it's going to be hands-on, where PLC is available, and you are going to work on it. Like the animation I showed, part of the presentation was actually to release the code so that people can tinker with it and see what the effect of what they have done. You understand me? We are going to be having robotics to make sure that people have hands-on experience. So it's not going to be, I've gone for automation training and we have a bad motor control system, and I cannot, be able to solve that. You'll be able to solve a motor control system, because in any automation, one of the key things are motors. So we'll be doing things on motor controls and things like that, but we will be handling real life PLCs.
So now, when you say, okay, I think not to flog this training issue. There's a whole lot to be asked. So I don't think we should flog it in this session. I think there should be a separate session, maybe another session to ask a lot. I've written a lot of questions down. I don't want us to extend.
Okay. Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Hello, sir.
Okay.
Yes, I appreciate all our comments and contributors. And please, if we have any other questions, you can, Engineer Oyedepo, please send in your telephone number for them to send you a WhatsApp message, and then you can help individuals to attend to them,
Yeah,
and
that'd be good.
as Engineer Oyedepo said, this presentation or the seminar is just to whet our appetite for further training that will or should come up depending on the level of interest of our audience. And so if you are interested, please kindly contact myself or our chairman of NIMechE, and so that we'll see how we can organize further training in partnership with Nigerian Institute of Mechanical Engineers moving forward. Thank you very much. Is there any other question? Can I still give a grace of about 2 minutes, because it's actually, we've exceeded our time by 10 minutes. I love to stick to time. Okay, in the absence of none, I want to hand over to our chairman, Engineer Abdulgani Tiamil, to give the vote of thanks and to also give the certificate to our facilitator, Engineer Wasiu Oyedepo. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Before the closing remarks and vote of thanks, let's quickly give the certificate of presentation to Engineer Wasiu Oyedepo. This certificate is awarded to Engineer Wasiu Oyedepo, MNSC, NIMechE, for his active and significant participation as a facilitator on the topic coding for fifth generation engineers in our career enhancement seminar held this day, May 25th, 2022. Signed, Engineer Bugani NIMechE Chairman, and Engineer Olufisayo Adedola, the committee chairman. Congratulations, sir, Engineer Wasiu Oyedepo, for this beautiful presentation.
Thank you very much, sir. I accept the certificate. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, thank you. On this note, the item 7, I think the chairman of the committee will serve at 7 as soon as possible. Thank you so much. We want to thank everybody.
Chairman, somebody is asking for how to become the NIMechE member, please. It's in the chat.
Okay. The person can just send WhatsApp message to myself or the PRO. If you don't have my number, my WhatsApp number is 0809 466 1247. Once again, 0809 466 1247. Thank you. Yes, we started around 10:30. We are spent. We're supposed to have closed by 1:30. I really appreciate everyone for our patience. In fact, we've just done the 75% because the fourth person is in the hospital. You can imagine if he has he was with us to present, well, maybe we'll have spent another 30 minutes thereabouts. We appreciate our elders because on this platform this morning, so this afternoon, we had more of the senior engineers than the younger ones. It's just unfortunate because our main target, just like the last speaker said, he has prepared this for the younger engineers and those in schools. But here we are. It is those of us that are the senior ones that are mostly here. But we do hope in our future seminar and other programs, the younger engineers, we create time to learn because the more you acquire, the more knowledge you acquire, the more you can give. So you cannot give what you don't have. This is the time for the younger ones to learn and learn so that in future they can take up the challenge. We are crying that we are not where we're supposed to be. We need to get there. And the true knowledge that we can get there where we're supposed to be, it is true knowledge we know where we are lacking, where we're supposed to do what we're supposed to do at the right time and do it at the right time. Without wasting much of our time again, I want to thank the Vice President, Engineer Goodluck Owodo, FNSC, who has been with us right from the beginning to the end. I also want to thank Engineer Mrs. Makidikpe, FNSC, Engineer Dr. Jubri Adeyemo, one of our former Lagos State Charter chairman. He was also online. And a very good brother from US, Engineer Yodeji Onabanjo, is part of us and is always with us. He continues to be with us. So we hope to work together again as we worked together some years back in the Lagos chapter. And host of others. I'm sorry if I cannot mention your name. I have Engineer Dr. Collins Nwa here, and some other senior colleagues. Because of time, I may not be able to mention everybody's name. So I want to thank you all for your patience, for your participation, and we want to get more feedback from your end. What do we do after this? Is it only by talking? What do we do? We should not be. We have action has to be taken. So it is only when we cooperate together. Don't leave the action for the ESCO only. All of us, we are together. We need to move the institution forward. We need to move the nation forward. So we are looking forward to getting more of your participation on how to move forward. For the feedback we have gotten right from the start of this event, people are requesting for the videotape, for the presentation to be sent to our email. All those things will be taken into consideration, and in a short while, all of us, we're going to get this, all the presentation we have done today, and we'll start working around how to walk the talk, not only to talk, but to walk the talk. May God Almighty help all of us to reach our goals in life. We hope that when next we call on all of us, we are going to join us, whether physically or online like this. Thank you so much. Thank you once again. May God bless everyone. Thank you. Mr. MC, Engineer Fisayo.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. And thank you everyone for participating.
I am here. I'm here.
Okay. Any other thing? Any information for our members? Okay. If there is no other information, I want to thank you all.
Excuse me, sir. They're asking for the channel to send feedback. Please, you can either contact me. I've shared my number, or the chairman. I've shared his number, and that of Engineer Fisayo. So any of us, you can contact us for feedback. You can also post it on the general platform, please.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That is
so
yes. Thank you very
much. We'll be looking forward to see us in our next general meeting coming up first Wednesday. Second Wednesday in June. So the information will be sent to our platform as usual. And very soon also we'll be calling us for industrial visits and course visits. We're also having a program for the younger ones, catching them young from secondary schools. So any of us that are available will call us to come and talk to our children in our secondary schools. Thank you. God bless. Bye-bye.
But excuse me, sir, on that, we need contact of government secondary schools. If you can assist us to get to visit government secondary schools, especially in mainland, and we can go there for career talk, please contact us so that we can do that. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Goodbye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Enjoy the rest of your day.